just repeat what Donald Trump has said. I didn't make any of that up. I mean, it would be hard to make up.
Hillary Clinton is a weak person. Hillary Clinton is totally scripted. Hillary Clinton is a thief, and Hillary Clinton should be in jail for what she did to our national security.
He doesn't really have ideas. He just engages in rants and personal feuds and outright lies, something that our country cannot afford in a commander-in-chief.
Frankly, I honestly believe, and I really mean this, I think that Hillary Clinton is unfit to lead our country, certainly at this time.
And with that, we welcome you to the Friday edition of Hardline. I'm John Bachman, again in for Ed Berliner today. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton trading rhetorical artillery fire again with just 4 days left before the final contest of the presidential primary calendar, with no shortage of sizzling sound bites. Which candidate can convince undecided voters that he or she can actually lead the entire nation? Meanwhile, millions of dollars of mudslinging already on the airwaves. Do these ads really change anyone's mind? Ahead, our trusted panel of battleground state voters, most with bipartisan backgrounds, will weigh in. And we want you to weigh in, too. Call us at 877-NEWSMAX. Again, that's 877-NEWSMAX. We'll get to some of those calls in just a few moments. But first, we begin with our political animal segment. Welcome back veteran Republican strategist and Georgetown University professor Bradley Blakeman. Also with us, conservative activist, political writer, and political podcaster Julio Rivera. Gentlemen, good to see you.
Thanks.
All right, so
how are you today?
Well, it's been an interesting day, to say the least. Donald Trump, in an interview earlier today with CNN's Jake Tapper, doubled down on his comments about this judge who is handling the federal civil case against him with Trump University. Trump is supposed to be unifying the Republican Party, but he said essentially this today when asked about this judge. If his attacks were too strong, he said, hey, there is a conflict here. He is a Mexican. I am building a wall. Julio, is Trump flirting with danger here?
You know what? No matter what he says, so many things that he said throughout the campaign, you would have thought would have backfired and would have sank him, but it seems like he's unstoppable in a lot of ways. He's impervious to himself is the phrase that I used early on in the campaign, and I was waiting the entire time for him, for the one soundbite, for the one moment that would probably hurt him, but it just seems like it strengthens him. This lack of political correctness with his base, which he obviously resonates with.
Well, Bradley, this has members of the Republican Party very nervous. What about you when you hear Donald Trump talking about a federal judge who was born in Indiana in 1953, when Donald Trump is calling him a Mexican? This is the Republican nominee for president.
It's crazy. As a lawyer, I'm offended. As an American, I'm offended. First and foremost, the judge deserves respect. He may not agree with the judge, but it has nothing to do with his ethnicity. It has everything to do with his legal ability. And Trump isn't challenging the judge on that. He's challenging him on who he is in his ethnic background. And I think that's wrong. I reject it. I have to tell you, this cannot help him with Hispanics. You cannot win on your base alone. And I can't imagine any Hispanic, whether you're from Mexico or you're from any other place, and call yourself a Hispanic or Latino, to agree with these comments.
And not to mention, Donald Trump does have a responsibility right now to unify the Republican Party. He just got, I don't know if you want to call it an endorsement, but Paul Ryan said he was going to back him yesterday. But today, Ryan is admonishing Trump for his comments about the federal judge, again, who is presiding over that civil lawsuit. And then the judge's name is Gonzalo Curiel, and he was born in Indiana in 1953. Now, here is Ryan's rebuttal of Trump on WISN Radio today, which I believe is in Milwaukee. And then also Mitch McConnell on CNN today talking about Trump's comments. Take a listen.
Look, the comment about the judge the other day just was out of left field from my mind. It's reasoning I don't relate to. I completely disagree with the thinking behind that. And so he clearly says and does things I don't agree with. And I've had to speak up on time to time when that has occurred, and I'll continue to do that if that's necessary. I hope it's not.
I'm unfamiliar with this particular judge, but I did say the other day, and I'll say again today, I thought it was completely unfortunate, unnecessary for our nominee to attack the governor of New Mexico. I think these attacks don't serve the candidate very well at this point. We ought to be trying to unify. He ought to be trying to unify the party behind him.
And just a programming note, guys, J.D. Hayworth will be interviewing Mitch McConnell coming up right here on Newsmax TV at 8 o'clock. But again, this is not good. Even if you're not a fan of Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell, the establishment guys in the party, you're a big Donald Trump fan, it doesn't matter at this point. Establishment, outsider, the party has to be unified to win, do they not, Julio?
Oh, yeah, obviously. I mean, the big issue that I've seen here with Donald Trump's ascension is the fact that so many Republicans are against him. If you look at the popular vote numbers, if you take out independents and Democrats that voted in open primaries, he's probably at about 60% of the Republican base rejecting him. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the convention. I mean, they still have to decide. He is presumptive, and by all accounts, he supposedly has the delegates. But if you listen to the actual law, you know, the laws of the last, the 2012 convention actually expire when this convention starts. So who knows if the delegates are truly going to be bound or not bound on the first ballot. But he definitely needs to bring the party together. And with this type of action, and you're hearing it from the party leadership, you know, they're obviously not happy with him. It's going to be hard to get the backing of that party leadership, because they've got elections to win too in the fall. Yeah, everybody's thinking about getting reelected.
The backing of the party and the leadership shouldn't be in question at this point. It should be the independent voters who aren't yet settled on voting Republican or even backing Trump that he needs to be focusing on. And he's all over the place. He talked kindly about Susana Martinez recently did a phone interview with the newspaper, the Santa Fe New Mexican. Trump spoke well of her. He said, "I'd like to have it," talking about her endorsement. "I respect her. I've always liked her." Of course, we know what he said about her just I think it was last week, talking about all the food stamps, all the people on food stamps in New Mexico. Well, Susana Martinez was asked about supporting Donald Trump for president. Here's what she had to say.
He needs to address his plans for us, and the New Mexico people deserve to get that answer. He's not addressed it yet. I will tell you, I'm not going to be voting for Hillary Clinton.
Is it possible you might not endorse him, ma'am?
I'm waiting to hear from him as to addressing the issues facing New Mexico.
You know, she's not mincing words there, and there's not really even hedging her bets. She put the ball in his court, Bradley. She said the onus is on Donald Trump to convince her to endorse him.
It is. He has to reach out and embrace Republican principles. He has to comport himself in the manner in which Republicans can get behind him. Look, every day I'm disappointed with Donald Trump. I want to support our nominee. I want to make sure that Hillary Clinton isn't president. But it makes it harder and harder each day to come on programs like this and defend him when there's just no way to defend comments against Latinos or anybody else that he attacks. And it's certainly a governor of New Mexico who has done a fantastic job. One minute he likes her, the next minute he doesn't. You never know which Trump is going to show up.
Bradley, you were at the 2012 Republican National Convention. Julio, were you there?
No, I was not there physically. No.
Do you guys remember Susana Martinez's speech? How great it was? It was one of the best ones. And if she's not there, or if she's not endorsing Trump, or if she doesn't have a speech similar to the one that she gave in 2012, it's going to be even worse come the day after Election Day for Republicans. She is somebody that he needs in her corner. And you know, he can't continue to talk about a federal court judge of Mexican heritage and expect to get her endorsement. And it's really concerning. Because I also want to talk about the violence which we saw at Trump's event in San Jose last night, which is not Trump's fault, by the way. These are leftist activists who are stoking the flames of the violence here. But San Jose, California's mayor, a guy named Sam Liccardo, had this to say about the violence occurring at Donald Trump's events. Quote, "Our police officers have done an extremely courageous and professional job so far. We are all still holding our breath to see the outcome of this dangerous and explosive situation. At some point, Donald Trump needs to take responsibility for the irresponsible behavior of his campaign." Julio, what do you think about that statement?
Well, I look at it like this. I mean, we live in America. The protesters have a First Amendment right to protest. Donald Trump has a First Amendment right to campaign. Unfortunately, you know, the behavior has gotten out of control. He does inspire violence. We've seen this on the campaign trail. We've seen it at his own rallies. And in a sense, in some of his language, seemed to condone it with saying that, you know, take care of that guy. I'll make sure it's taken care of and whatnot. Listen, this is what we have. We have to deal with it. Unfortunately, we have to find a way to unite the party. The Hispanics, like that you just made mention of earlier with Susana Martinez, that's a major voting bloc. And right now, now he's got to think about raising his negatives. His negatives are very high with women, with minorities. As we get down, towards the stretch headed towards November, how's he going to improve that? What concessions he can make? How's he going to, extend the olive branch towards, changing the opinion of a lot of Americans in order to be able to beat Hillary Clinton?
Just when you start to think, you see some glimpses of presidential behavior, some restraint, some discipline from Donald Trump. He has 2 days, like he's had the last 2 days, and you got to start to feel a little bit nervous. I want to bring in some callers right now. We have Craig from Middleton, Ohio, joining us right now. Craig thinks that Trump should stick to the issues and not attack Hillary. Craig, go ahead.
Yeah, I think you'd be better off just staying with the issues and not getting a mudslinging with Hillary. Hillary is Hillary. Everybody knows what she's done or what she hasn't done. Everything she's done is either illegal or crooked, so everyone knows that. And the only ones that's going to stay with her are the diehard Democrats. Nobody else is going to vote for her anyway. So he just needs to stay on his issues. And as far as the delegates, any delegate that does not go with Trump in the election, everyone should get together and vote when it comes back for voting for the senators and the congressmen, vote them out of office.
Well, that's a concern with some of them. Bradley, when you look at some of these issues that Donald Trump is faced with at this particular point in time, do you think Craig has a point right there? Do you think he should not attack Hillary Clinton? Because she's attacking him. How do you not come back?
Well, Craig's right. Trump has got to stick to the issues, but you cannot just stick to the issues alone. You have to define yourself. You have to tell the differences to the American people between what a Trump presidency will be and a Hillary presidency. The problem is Trump tends to dwell on attacking Hillary to the exclusion of talking about his policies.
Yeah, I wish he would I personally wish he would stick to attacking Hillary and not attack federal court judges who had been, confirmed by the United States Senate. Not a good idea, not a good path to go down, and very dangerous for Donald Trump. But, gentlemen, we got to cut it off there. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but an inspiring conversation nonetheless on this Friday. We hope you both have a great weekend. Bradley Blakeman and Julio Rivera, a pleasure to speak with you both. Well, coming up next, we are going to talk about serious issues cutting American lives short. What is leading specifically white Americans and their life expectancy to start shrinking by weeks and even months? We have that coming up after this.